Next year for me is the year of the bike park. I want to travel around and go to some lift access bike parks. So the plan is today is to build up a super sick bare bones park bike. Today I'm resurrecting this 2022 Commencal Meta SX. It's made to be a mullet with 170, 160 travel. And since this will be a lift or shuttle bike, I'm stripping off the dropper and doing something kind of crazy later in the video. Well, here it is. I love this polished frame, man. There's a couple scuffs here and there, but that kind of goes in line with what I'm going for today. So the rules for this park bike build are, I want it to be rugged, so no carbon, no electronics allowed. Second, I want to keep it bare bones. I already removed the dropper, and I don't think I need gears either. I also don't want any colors on, just blacks, silvers, and metallic. That way it's a timeless style. And fourth, keep it a little experimental. This is an Enduro Infinity EN fork. It's a dual crown Enduro fork. It is not a downhill fork. Enduro says this is for Enduro, so that means you can use a standard stem, no direct mount stem like downhill forks use. And the cool thing is it's inverted, so the stanchions are down here, and that means the oil is always saturating the dust wipers. And with these super long fork tubes, Enduro also has the bushings almost 8 inches apart, whereas standard forks have bushing like 2 to 3 inches of bushing overlap. That means this will slide up and down super smooth. Oh, I can already feel it, man. And it has a very low chance of the bushings binding the stanchion one under load. Then the longer fork tubes also make way more space for the positive and the negative air chamber. So this fork should be super sensitive. I already feel it, dude. This is awesome. And the coolest thing about this fork is that it's only about 100 grams heavier than a Zeb, so I'm super pumped to try this work of art. Since the Commencal is made for 170 millimeters travel up front, I have to change the travel. And with this fork, Enduro makes it so easy. Instead of swapping the air springs, dealing with that mess, you simply turn the stanchion 1 full rotation to adjust the travel 1 millimeter. But then it gets a little tricky because the dual crowns have a different axle to crown measurement. So I can get an extra 5 millimeters of travel and still have the same axle to crown measurement as a single crown 170. So 5 millimeters extra travel with no change in the geometry, that's pretty sick. If you've been a fan of the channel for a while and remember the original build on this frame, I pressed in the headset cups crooked. I'll replay that now. So let's see if I can get some redemption here. And it's funny, I still get internet haters talking about me pressing in the headset crooked almost 2 years later. Man, I need a moment to admire this thing, dude. This is gonna be a fun bike. And I was a little bit unsure on where to put the fork bumpers. If you know, let me know in the comments. But I've seen a lot of people talking online about some frames not being designed for dual crown. But I found a lot of people taking this exact frame and going dual crown 200 millimeter travel, and no one mentioned that it was bad or if it would void the warranty. Actually, I really don't care about warranties. I just don't want this thing to crack while riding it. Next, let's talk drivetrain. And I'm going single speed on this build. No need for gears when you're riding only downhill, right? Actually, I don't know the answer to that. I guess I'll find out. But to make this work, I have a reverse components chain tensioner. And you need this when using a full suspension because the chain grows and shrinks when you compress the suspension. And I could use a XD single speed conversion kit, but a few years ago, I built up a single speed wheel with a Paul hub and a White Industries freewheel laced to a DT Swiss rim. And I think this wheel will be bomb proof for this park bike build. I'm also going to use an O chain, which helps reduce pedal kickback and gives you a chainless ride feeling, or so they say. I'm not really sold on it, but I own it, I might as well use it. Everything was going smoothly, but I quickly ran into a problem. The freewheel is an 18 tooth and the single speed chain tensioner can take a maximum of 17 teeth. That means I can't use this wheel. Instead, I'm going to use the 14 tooth XT conversion on my nuke-proof Horizon wheel. I might buy a smaller freewheel for the other wheel, but this is an experimental build. I need to test it before buying stuff. But with this gearing change, I'll be running a 36-14, and I calculated the gear inches, and that's 72 gear inches. And on a BMX bike with a 44-16, you run 53 gear inches. Basically, that means climbing won't be possible. This will be a super hard gear, but I'll be able to pedal downhill. The saying goes, single speed is the perfect way to always be in the wrong gear. Man, this bike is becoming a very European build. We have the frame, which is from Enduro, the fork and tensioner are German, and you could say the wheels are British. But now I have to make the decision with the tires. Right now, these tires are Maxxis trail casings. That's not gonna work. And I need some thick boy tires. I could keep it German and install this Continental Zenithal 2.4 Super Enduro, but I have these Pirelli Scorpions that came off the Bronson. They're super thick, dang near downhill tires, and the rear is a 2.6 inch, which I would prefer. So I'm adding a little bit of Italian in this build too. It's crazy. Off camera, I threw these nuke-proof Horizon wheels on the truing stand, and they were straight as can be with no loose spokes after heavy usage for 2 years now. And I'm just gonna say it, I think these wheels are the best value wheels of all time. It's a shame that nuke-proof went under. The biggest benefit of running single speed is removing the weight from the rear end. That should make the suspension work better by lightening the unsprung mass. Also, it lets me run the thickest tire possible with CushCore without turning the bike into an absolute tank. It might seem like I spent a lot on this build, but this is a 100% parts bin build. I spent $0 this week to put it together. It's all parts that I've acquired over the last 2 years. I've even had the fork on hand for several months now. So for the brakes, I'm installing some spare SRAM Code RSCs. Code brakes are my absolute favorite brakes when it comes to cost and performance. So this bike will have crazy stopping power, especially since it should be pretty light with no dropper or gears, but I'll weigh this bike soon enough. So there it is, man, my bare bones park bike, and I am super happy with how this turned out. It's freaking awesome, dude. And I was thinking it was gonna be a little bit lighter, like 33 pounds, but when it was built up with gears and a dropper, it was almost 39 pounds. So it's a pretty good improvement, I'd say. And like I said, it's an experimental build. So if you have any ideas of what I could do better for this park bike, let me know in the comments. I'm still learning. I've never done this before. I was planning on taking this bike to Howler. It's a sick bike park like 2 hours from my house, but I'm pretty sure for the last week I've had what they call walking pneumonia, and I'm not back up to 100% yet. And right now it's like 35 degrees out, super cold, but I don't really like making excuses, but I really wanted to make a final video for 2024. I didn't want to leave you guys hanging, and I just love making these videos, man. And thank you to everyone for all the love and support this year. It's been a great year for me. But now I'm gonna get rested up. I'm gonna enjoy the holidays with my family, and I'll see you again in 2025.